folks. You know you're in for a treat when you hear that sound because it's time for another week of the Rec Poker Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Reed, Bluffsterini in the home games, but you can learn more about me and the rest of the Wrecking crew by going to rec.poker/crew, because it takes a village, it takes a group, it takes a team to do the kind of things that we love to do here at Rec Poker. So Wrecking crew members, why don't you introduce yourself as well, and then we'll get on with the show a little.
Mark Prashant, website Mark on rec.poker and website AMP in the home game.
And I'm Rob Washam, and I'm Rabman50 just about everywhere.
And every week we have a different kind of group here in the chat as we interview folks from around the poker world. Every week I have to thank our sponsors, Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, and our very own website AMP, this guy over here, website Mark Prashant, who's a huge part of what we do over here at Rec Poker. So thank you to those wonderful folks. And I also want to thank James Cree and Joseph Foss, who have recently become premium members at Rec Poker. We've exchanged a couple notes in the forums or over email, seen a couple new folks in the strategy conversations that we have virtually every day here at Rec.Poker. And so James Cree and Joseph Foss, thanks for joining. Thanks for your support. And I can't wait to get to know you a little better. Speaking of getting to know people a little better, our guest this week is no stranger to the show. Robbie Strazynski, who has been a big part of the poker world for a long time. He's the founder of cardplayerlifestyle.com, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. Robbie, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you again, Jim. It's nice to join the show. I know I've seen Rob before when I've been on before, and Mark, nice to meet you. We've been talking a little bit offline or online in a different venue, so great to see all three of you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Mark's becoming a bigger and a bigger part of the poker world, I think, certainly when it comes to websites, and he's our technical guru. And I think you'll see Mark Prashant collaborating with lots of poker professionals in the years to come. So I'm excited to have him on the team here. So Robbie, we talk every once in a while. You're so involved in so many different things in the poker world. Cardplayerlifestyle.com is a great blog. It's full of links to other great podcasts too, not just ours. Great strategy articles, deals for that sort of things, all sorts of great resources you can find there as well. For those that might not know you so well, how did that kind of start? And then we'll get into some of your more recent exploits afterwards.
Fantastic. Well, like all you guys, and I imagine everyone watching, listening, I just love poker. I started out as a fan and just a home game player. I started when I was 8 years old. My dad taught me the game, loved it. So it's always been a lifelong love of mine. Way back in the day, late 2009, my buddy's like, "Hey, you know how to write? Hey, you know what's going on in the poker world. Let's start a site." Because he knew all the whole stuff about running a site. So I was like, okay, that's basically how the whole card player lifestyle journey began. It very much was just sort of a blog. I didn't know who I was writing for. Fast forward a couple of years, I learned a lot from my buddy Avi. Shout out to him, who helped me found the site. Learned who I was writing for, basically people like me. And slowly but surely saw the traffic going up. And this was always like a nights and weekends kind of like side gig, just something I enjoyed doing. Fast forward a little bit more and, the traffic increased and, the amount of content I was generating and putting out there increased. And I was like, okay, this is March, actually will be 5 years. I went, all in, self-employed. So March 2017, that was a very big day. Let's go all in. And ever since then, it's very much been a full-time pursuit. And that's my site. Like you said, it does a whole bunch of stuff, interviews, op-eds, strategy, all that kind of stuff. And thankfully, just over time, that side hustle kind of became the main thing. I love waking up every morning when I want to, going to sleep when I want to. And thankful, grateful to make a living doing this, and it's just a great feeling.
Yeah, certainly. Anytime you can sort of turn a side hustle into something that's putting food on the table, you're in the elite company. You're kind of winning at life there. So that's a dream for a lot of our recreational poker player listeners as well, I think. And card player lifestyle. I mean, that's really, you just hit the nail on the head there, right? I mean, that is kind of amateur recreational players who love the game. And and who have to kind of make it fit in a rich, full life of other things, you know. So one thing that you've sort of kept championing since then is these fun games, home games, mixed games. I know is a big area of yours. In fact, let's talk about that a little bit. I know you had the Mixed Games Festival in Vegas over WSOP this year. How'd that go? And do you plan on doing something like that again?
Yes, as many times as I possibly can. It's the kind of thing, you know, I always, I wondered every time I go to a poker room, you know, we don't have poker rooms. I'm in Israel. We don't have casinos here. So like for me to go and visit a poker room, I was like, oh my God, it's a drive of an hour and a half. La-di-da. What I would give for that. For me, it's you got to get on a plane to go and visit a poker room. And so it's, you know, I always wondered every time I go to a poker room, well, where are all the mixed games being played? And it's like, oh yeah, there's a 40-80 or a 160-320 game, or like these super, you know, nosebleed game. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm playing with my buddies, like really low stakes, like, you know, 25 cent, 50 cent in my home game. Where's all that? So I get it. You know, it's not so simple to always have that running from a poker room's perspective, as far as, you know, generating revenue and stuff, but especially compared to how many hands you get in with No Limit Hold'em. That's the most popular game. I totally get it. That said, you know, there is a niche, there is a need out there, and I believe, you know, it's the kind of thing like if it was there, if you build it, people will come. And I do think it's kind of like a long-term vision and hope. And was like, man, I wish it was there. It's like, well, if it's not, let's build it yourself. So that was sort of the idea to try and start this idea of a mixed game festival. Grateful to have pulled it off in October this past year at Westgate in Las Vegas. It was about a year and a half after it was supposed to have been pulled off.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure you guys know why. But thankfully we got, you know, Poker Stars got in there and like, yeah, we like the idea. Let's give you a platinum pass to give away.
Oh my God.
You know, that's like a $30,000 prize package for one of their tournaments. I totally lucked out, you know, from like a marketing perspective. Who wins the big tournament? Greg Raymer, right? 2004 WSOP main event champion. He was, you know, the guy. You know, so I can always say, whoever, you know, the first mixed game festival we had, Card for Lifestyle, we got Greg Raymer, but you know, we had, you know, 120 people, 124 people in the big tournament. 4 days of just dealer's choice cash games. You know, we had the Doogie, Badesi, Stud 8 or Better, Archie, Drama, Holland, you name it, we played it. And for low stakes, 4-8 the entire time. We had a table going, you know, 19 hours one day, 16 hours the next day, 3 tables going for 12 hours, you know, playing 4-8 mix. You don't really see that anymore. Maybe way back in the poker boom day of 2006, but not anymore. And I do believe, and I hope, that is kind of like the first of many that I get to do. You know, if I lived in the States, it'd be easier, but, you know, at least once, hopefully twice, maybe more a year. Doesn't always have to be in Las Vegas, you know, wherever, you know, whatever locale region wants one. And now I could say, hey, you know, we produced a lot of content, like a daily recap. We had a whole bunch of social media going. And our mutual friend, Chad McVean, you know, was, right? So he was there. You know, pushing it. So, and everyone just really had a good time. So that was great. And I could say, hey, this is what we're capable of doing. You know, Mr. So-and-so poker room manager in Ohio. Would you like this? So, you know, hopefully it's just the first of much more good mixed game festival stuff to come. And yeah, at the end of the day, I just sort of feel, why did I do it during the World Series? Or in general, it's like, not everyone's got $1,500 to play in a bracelet event, right? Or you know, playing the Colossus, but you don't want to, you know, go against 20,000 people. Let's just sit down for $100, $200 and have a great time for a few hours. And you know, we had free pizza twice a day, so that was really nice. We had book signings, we had some bracelet winners and legends come and join us. So tried to create a real festive atmosphere. And again, the feedback was super positive, and hopefully next time will be even better.
Yeah, and I think you totally did nail that festival, festive atmosphere. I think it was something that people really enjoyed sort of dropping in for. And Chad was having the time of his life down there. Oh my God. I missed it by a day. My days didn't line up. That's something I really regret, not getting a chance to meet up with you and Chad, and getting a taste of that when I was down there. But I'd say it was a huge hit. And yeah, kudos to PokerStars for kicking in that great prize. And of course, I know Chad wanted to win that one, but he found his way to a platinum pass somehow otherwise. So
Right?
life just worked out.
That's called run good. Just good things happening to good people, though. So
Yeah, that's right. Guy. You said it. Well, Rob and Mark, or if any of the members have any questions or anything, feel free to jump in or type in some chats here. I've got a couple others I want to get into. But so mixed games is something we're going to be doing a lot more at Rec Poker in 2022. We've talked about maybe starting like a monthly demo, getting more demonstrations about the different mixed games. We've got our monthly Player of the Year race with mixed games, and we play practice mixed games every Saturday night. What's drawn you to mixed games, and why do you find, what do you enjoy about it, and what makes it good for poker?
Hold'em is boring. And I don't mean it's not enjoyable. Yeah, it's enjoyable, but to a degree. And I don't know. I like a little bit of salt and pepper on the salad, just like, So again, like all poker is great. You put me at a poker table, I'll have a good time. But generally speaking, I'll tell you about my home game. I always say it's like one of the Wild West kind of home games. It's every hand is a new game. Most folks, they play a full orbit, 8 hands or something like that. Every hand is a new game, and quite frankly, that just keeps us on our toes. You better be concentrating. You could be, have a great hand, but you're playing the wrong game. You're not going to win it. so it's just, honestly, it keeps the brain active, and quite frankly, just again, the ambiance. At least the stakes that I play for, low stakes. When you're playing a home game, you're playing with your buddies for fun. Sure, it's nice to win. We're all playing to try and win. But at the end of the day, just why I enjoy playing so much is the social atmosphere. And you go to any poker room where you do happen to find a low stakes mixed game going, you're going to hear a lot of clicking of chips and, a lot of stares and stuff at the other tables. And then you can have a table of folks just having the time of their life, loud, usually, libations are involved, a good spirit or two. And they can go for hours. So I love there's just a lot of excitement surrounding a mixed game. And quite frankly, also, poker is not just Hold'em. You can have phenomenal no limit Hold'em players and that sort of a thing. But there are, you look at the Dealer's Choice that Adam Friedman won 3 years in a row, 20 game mix. And you just have to know how to play all these games. And to me, that's the true measure of a great poker player, is the ability to adapt, and not just play against your opponents, but know all of the games and adjust accordingly. Maybe, this guy's great at 7-card stud. Okay, here I'll be tight. He's not so great as PLO 8. So that's where I'll be aggressive and that sort of a thing. So I don't know. I love it. I can't explain better than that, but I just kind of wish more people did. And I'm kind of like making it my life's mission to ensure as many people as possible get exposed to these games.
Oh, that's great, Robbie. Yeah, I do hear a lot when people talk about it, just it being a more fun atmosphere at the table. And I do think you're onto something there as well about it being sort of like a better test of a man's mettle, playing against each other.
Woman. Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. But as a competitor, one of the things that makes us good at poker is adapting to different circumstances and different, not having a rigid strategy that goes in. So, yeah, kudos. Good for you. Mark, I see you unmuted there. What do you have a question
here? Yeah, with regard to mixed games, I wanted to get your thoughts, Robbie. I actually just this week learned that down in Austin, Texas, they're tinkering with dealing out PLO double board bomb pots as a variant. So it's not every once an orbit or once an hour. That's the first I've heard of it actually being dealt as a game. I wonder what you would think of that.
Very, very heavily bankrolled. That's what I would suggest as such a game. PLO is just known, a regular PLO right? Pot Live in Omaha is just known as a game with lots of variants, and that's quite frankly why it's the second most popular poker game. A lot of folks are switching out of Hold'em, and it's relatively easy. It's also a flop game. You just get 2 more cards, twice the action, that sort of a thing. And there's just a lot of swinginess, and you could have your opponent completely dominated, but there's still 40% to win the hand. You put a bomb pot in there where there's extra money in the pot to begin with, a second board, and just pile it in and see what happens. It's kind of like scratches that gambling itch a lot of people have. I kind of stay away. This is my Achilles heel in all those kind of big bet variance games. I'm a little nervous because you win one great pot and you're set for the rest of the session. But you got to be really careful. So I would say caveat emptor, approach with caution, but have fun.
Good advice.
For some of our listeners that might not know what it means when it's a bomb pot, can you just explain how that changes the action or how that impacts the hand?
Sure. Basically, before the hand begins, everyone agrees to place a set amount of money into the middle of the pot. So if it's a $25 bomb pot, you got 8 players at the table. So there's $200 extra in the middle before the hand even begins, plus you've got your regular blinds. So there's that much more of a competition. Oh, there's almost added value in here. Imagine how you would play a pot if there was $200 extra there to win. So it certainly acts to change the action. And, if you've got a good hand, a lot of folks just say, let's go for it. It's worth my while and try to force people out. But then you have, after 2 people have called, you've got the 4th guy's like, well, no matter what, even if my cards are crap, I got 15% to win. Let's gamble.
Right.
So that happens. It certainly happens.
Well, and we've talked about in the show before about how once antes are introduced, those pots are just a little more worth stealing. And so you can only imagine when you get, the equivalent of 100 antes in the middle before you even deal any cards out that, people are going to want to see some action on that. Rob, what's up with you?
That's a crazy thing what you're saying there about an entire orbit's worth of, usually you get once per orbit or once per dealer change just to kind of mix things up a little bit. A PLO double board bomb pot, full orbit of it, really come well-heeled, get people to invest in you who just, don't like money very much. I don't know.
I heard they're trying it. I don't know if it'll stick, but yeah.
Sounds fun. All right, Rob, you unmuted there. Do you have a question?
Well, I was just going to make a comment, I guess. A lot of people that play Hold'em are kind of put off by mixed games, but they don't realize that if they learn those mixed games, they're going to learn some insight into their actual Hold'em games that they can bring back to their Hold'em games, concepts that don't even cross their mind while they're playing Hold'em that become very important in the mixed games. So I think that's an interesting concept that a lot of people, I think, miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Robbie, do you have, is there one, because you obviously play all these different kinds of games, are there certain ones that you feel like you've taken more lessons from than others? Or are there ones that you found have sort of impacted your journey as a poker player more than others?
Well, the lessons not necessarily, because I don't necessarily try to learn from the mixed games to improve at Hold'em. So
sure.
I can't necessarily say that, but have impacted my game, my career? Absolutely, because there are, just plainly speaking, fewer folks who do like the mixed games. So it's almost like it's a little sub-niche within the poker community. You're kind of like almost guaranteed to get along with them a little bit more and develop those relationships further. You've got folks like, just name drop a little bit. You got like Nathan Gamble. You've got Benny Glazer, Eliel Ezra, even Linda Johnson, First Lady of Poker. Some folks who clearly have played all the different games, and to be able to speak with them about not just Hold'em, but also those games and hear their stories. And, there's so much more that they can share with you, both from they experienced those hands and just to listen to a cool story, perspective, as well as to learn from them how to improve. I found that I don't know if it opens doors necessarily, but you're almost kind of part of this extra small little special, community within the poker community. So it has impacted me in that way. And on a little bit more of a personal level, the group of folks with whom I play in my home games as well, which includes my dad's and some very good friends of mine, we realize it's difficult to just get someone else new to come to the game. So it really is the same people each and every week. I've been playing with them for years, and it's just something we really bond around. Again, a lot of folks say that about their No Limit Hold'em games that they have each week, but that thing that we have in common, we can talk about, that crazy, Archie hand that we played. Oh, that horrible Archie. You're only just a few special people. So just, a little bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope you hear it. I hope you see it. I really am genuinely in love with all the mixed stuff.
Oh, that's great. I could just see in your face while you're talking about it too, that's true. And, when we have a little more time, I'll get the story about one of those hands too, I think. But you're also very involved in sort of poker media, other podcasts, and I don't want to steer the conversation in any one direction or another, but what have you been working on recently? What other organizations are you participating with, and how exciting is that?
Well, yeah. So, we've just, we're about to record episode number 72 for CardsChat for their podcast. Started working with them, I guess it's over a year ago, right? A year and a half, something like that ago. And it was really cool. You can kind of hear them. I think I'm pretty natural in front of a camera, in front of a microphone. My wife loves reminding me how much I love talking and the sound of my own voice. And I love her very much. I do. But it's just a fun thing. I kind of got into this idea of cool, podcasting. I just love doing it. I love networking with people, especially when you're sitting out here in Israel. It's an excuse each and every week to go ahead and, chew the fat with other folks in the poker community, such as yourselves.
Sure.
It's just fun. It's like I don't get to do this with every Tom, Dick, and Moshe here in the streets in Israel. So I could kind of do it myself. What I'm kind of lacking, because I'm a little bit of a one-man show, is all of the whole infrastructure of putting the podcast on, Spotify and all these
Sure.
iTunes. I don't have that sort of know-how, and just, making sure you have a guest every single week and putting the questions together, and, that anyone can just read questions off a sheet, but making it look natural, that sort of a thing. That takes enough of my time. So when they reached out to me saying, well, we've got all that other back-end stuff, your responsibility would be find the guest, make sure you book the interviews and send it to us, and we'll take care of the rest. Yeah, it was a great, a great win-win for them, I think, I hope, and for me, and I enjoy it. So that's really, really fun.
Well, you're the talent now, Robbie. That's official. They're bringing you in. Bring in the ringer. Come and you got to keep the talent happy around here.
I'm talent adjacent. I call myself. I think that's better. At the end, it was funny. It's funny you mentioned it, because at the end, on the CardsChat forums, we kind of interact once in a while with them. The podcast is for the 300,000 members of the CardsChat community and the forums there. So there's like a dedicated thread there. And every once in a while, I kind of check in and people talk with me and they're like, oh, you should be the guest for episode 100. I'm like, well, but who would I talk to? And they're like, oh, you host yourself. You ask yourself the question. I don't know. It's not really, I enjoy it, but it's kind of like we want to try to highlight the guest each week and learn their story. And it's not just, the super duper, wins 17 bracelets, Phil Almeida. It's lots of other folks as well who are perhaps lesser known, but just have really cool, interesting stories we want to bring to the limelight. So I definitely enjoy that. The other one that I host is kind of like a project of mine together with my good friends, Des Duffy, Lee Wiltshire. It's called The Orbit. We kind of took this... what's that ESPN show called where you have like a round table kind of thing around the horn?
Sure, yeah.
I think that's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea being, you've seen like a panel discussion. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel. This is, very similar to it, that sort of a thing, but getting, some, really high profile people across different, you've got poker media, poker industry, poker player. You want to have someone from Europe, someone from Australia sometimes, in America, like all sorts of different perspectives to try and bring their thoughts, their unique, perspectives on different issues in the poker world that are going on. Sometimes it's a hot button issue. We just recorded, for example, the Global Poker Index Awards special, because that's coming up. So that's something everyone's talking about. Let's hear what you guys all have to say from your different perspectives. We did a special for the 10th anniversary of Black Friday. We'll do International Women's Day kind of special, and just sort of take that topic, talk about it for an hour, kind of like subdivide it into little things and have a roundtable discussion. So many of the overwhelming majority of the podcasts out there is you have host, guest, two hosts, a guest, that sort of a thing. And this is kind of something that, again, in a similar way towards this Rec Poker show, you involve all of the people who are in on the call, and there's a lot of interaction among the participants and panelists. And thankfully, it's been pretty well received. We just that was episode 15. I'm pretty sure we started it. So I guess it must have been good. Again, also about a year and a half since we started it. What's kind of cool, just as a additional asterisk there for both of these shows, it kind of started around the pandemic time. So into just go a little bit deeper, it's kind of been a lifeline to me. It's been very nice. When travel isn't necessarily possible, that much more so, it's just really nice to socialize with people and still at least talk poker if you can't necessarily play it. And when everyone else is kind of like sitting at home, nothing else to do. So it kind of brings some extra viewers and some extra listeners. So that's kind of nice too.
No, that's great. Yeah. That's great. And I know, and they've both been really well received. People enjoy them both. And, CardsChat's a great organization. And they're trying to do a lot of the same stuff that we're doing here, which is sort of sharing this love of poker with recreational players, beginners to intermediates to killers, bringing people along their poker journey. So good for you. It seems like a good fit.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, nice, good. Well, like we were saying before we started recording here, that's what you got to be doing with your life. You got to be doing stuff you enjoy, right? You got to find things that you're passionate about and make it your own. And if you're lucky enough to put some food on the table, so be it. So good for you, Robbie. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Jim.
Now now you need to get a guest host to come in for episode 100 and interview you. So we've got a couple. If you're in need, we've got a couple of guest interviewers around here at Rec Poker 2 that can step in and show you off to your best advantage.
So I was thinking maybe we'll bring my wife in. She'll interview me when I'm bluffing or not. So
now, did she play cards as well? Is that something that you have in common?
No. She does not play cards. She understands the game enough and knows all the names and the buzzwords and that sort of thing. But did not really take to it. We play different sorts of card games. We enjoy gin. We enjoy spades. That kind of stuff. But poker is never something she really took to.
No, you got to have that mix, right? Things you can enjoy together, and then those things that you get to enjoy separately. It sounds like you've got it all figured out. Yeah. Well, I'll let our panel ask any more questions before we let you go. We're coming up to the end of the time that we've put aside for you here. Where can people reach you? What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you, Robbie? If they're listening and they want to reach out, they want to get more involved with some of the things that you're doing, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Thanks. I appreciate it again, and just want to say to all three of you guys, thank you very much for having me on the show. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope anyone who's listened or has watched has enjoyed it. You want to hear more of this ugly mug? That sort of thing. I kind of live on Twitter at Card Player Life. You can follow also the brand Poker Life Media. That's also on Twitter. If you want to email me, one of the things I will just say, how I started it, I did kind of everything myself, and over the years we have, adding more and more contributing writers. There's a lot of folks who are looking for a platform to get into the industry. You ever want to pitch some ideas? Robbie, ROBBIE at cardplayerlifestyle.com. Feel free to email me anytime. And, perhaps I'll see you guys again here on the Rec Poker Podcast someday. I will say, folks, you can also find this show, the timestamps, recaps, all that kind of good stuff. We do post it each and every week. So thank you guys very much for that partnership. I think, again, another win-win. And like you said, do what you enjoy and find those win-wins, and you just kind of enjoy life.
You said it, man. Well, that's great. I'm so glad you've been a friend of the show for a long time. I'm glad you're doing so well. And we always enjoy talking to you, Robbie. So thanks again. We're going to get into our little home game report here and start talking about some community happenings. So we will speak to you again soon. Thanks, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, guys. Run well and it away from the felt.
You said it. What a guy. All right. So without our intrepid John Somsky here, I'm going to roll through our home game results. Starting with January 24th, some guy named Keck Geek 65 won his daily nightly tournament, the one and only Jacob Kiki. No surprise here. That's his second of 2022 and his 32nd overall. I'm so excited Jacob was able to hit his goal of 20 in 2021. Quite a remarkable achievement. On the 25th, 3-card fan Michelle Culhane won her third daily. Way to go, Michelle. On the 26th, Marbles Jam, Jefferson Kupferberg won his. That's his 8th lifetime. Nicely done. On the 27th, Keck Geek, no 65, just the standard old Keck Geek, Mark Kiki, who is Jacob's dad, won the daily as well. That's his 15th lifetime. So the force is strong in that family.
I don't think it would be right to not interrupt the person introducing all the winners of the home game.
Yes.
So
you beat me into it by about 5 seconds.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Well timed.
I just want to say that the last 2 times I played in the home game, Keck Geek is the person who took me out. So
really?
I'm coming for you, Keck Geek. I don't care. You took me out.
Keck Geeks are crushers.
Last Sunday. Last Sunday, heads up. And then I can't remember the hand this week. Sometime he took me out, and so I remember the name. I'm coming for you.
We're coming for you. We're coming for you, Mark Kiki. We're coming for you, Keck Geek. Keep it up. Oh yeah, and in fact, I think Mark also won a free month at Learn Pro Poker because he did edge you out in that Sunday.
Yep. That was me and him heads up. I had Queen 6, he had Queen 5, and the flop was Queen 5.
Oh, that is
cool
dirty.
Cruel game.
That
and
is
we got
dirty.
it all in, and I looked like, oh my.
Why do we play this game, Rob? Why did we choose this terrible, brutal game to just throw ourselves against time after time?
I have no idea.
Well, congratulations, Mark. Way to break Rob's heart. On the 28th, my good buddy Dave Westerveld, Evil Roy CA, came in with his daily win, his 22nd lifetime. So he's really climbing the charts. On the 29th, Jay Sedum, Jeff S, won his daily. We've heard his name a few times. In the mixed events on the 29th, Charles Allen, longtime premium member. Congratulations, Charles. Way to get that practice mixed game in. We're going to see you on the second Wednesday of the month to play in our Player of the Year mixed games race. Hopefully we can get you some points there. And then in the international series, on the 29th, Steve Krebs, Elvis 76, seen him around quite a bit, won his second international event. And Poker Cat 36, Naomi Pizzol, won her third. Congratulations, Naomi. And nice to see your name back here in the winner's circle. Finally, on the 30th, Glassjaw 2222, Dave Schoon, won his ninth daily series of all time. And it was the Learn Pro Poker Sunday event. So just like every other player who wins on Sunday night, it is a tournament that's sponsored by Learn Pro Poker and Ryan LaPlante. So if you win on Sunday night, you can email me, jim@rec.poker, and I will be sure to send you a code that gets you a month of free access to Learn Pro Poker, which is a fantastic place.
I don't know if this is a theme or something, but Glassjaw took me out of that last night, set over set. So I don't know. It seems like they have to take out me to win the Learn Pro Poker Sunday night.
You personally,
it must have something to do with that. I'm not sure.
Can you take any solace in the fact that they went on to win at least?
Well, of course.
They put your chips to use anyway.
I only lost to the champion.
That's right.
Right.
Well, actually, I was talking to the rest of the panel, Rob, and we've just decided that we can't let you get any better at poker. So if Rob got a month to Learn Pro Poker, that might be the end of it for all of us. So we're kind of ganging up on you to keep you out of there, keep you at our level. We need you down here, Rob.
Good plan.
I
don't think you have to worry about it.
Oh, I don't know, man. You're raising the ceiling. You're almost all the way through Michael Acevedo's modern poker theory, right? So you're unlocking all the mysteries of the universe. You guys coming up on River Play yet? You must be getting pretty close to the end of that, baby.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, by the time you hear this, we'll have our first River Play session. I don't know if we're going to be able to get through all of it. Mm-hmm. Depends on how deep the conversation goes, but we could very well get through River Play, and we're doing that on the 2nd. So it would be it would already be gone by the time you hear this. But if we get through that, then that's it.
Nice.
We've made it.
Pretty amazing. So maybe we'll do like one general discussion conversation at the end of that, and then bring in Michael Acevedo himself to do a Q&A.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that'd be great. So I think we can probably figure that the first Wednesday of March might be a good time to have Michael Acevedo in either way.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll reach out to Michael, and I'm sure he'll be more than happy to book that off. He was pretty excited at the prospect of us combing through that book and sharing its secrets with all our members. So I can't wait to ask him face to face to unlock some of those secrets, because that was a great read. And have you started thinking about what the next book is going to be, Rob?
Not at all.
No. I saw there's a forum post. Some folks are putting some recommendations out there.
Yep. Yeah, we still got the 16 books that we used last time, and maybe we could look to see if there's new ones to add, like maybe Dara's new book on Endgame. Mm-hmm. That might be one that makes the list. There hasn't been a lot of new books, I don't think, in the last year since we started Modern Poker Theory. But so we still got a nice big list of books to choose from. So we're going to reach out to the members and get some suggestions and find out what would be the best way to choose a book.
Nice. Well, I'm excited for that. And Rob, if people want to get in touch with you with some ideas or suggestions, what's the best way to reach you?
You can go to Rob@RecPoker as my email.
That's a good one.
And that's the easiest way to do it. Obviously, Rabman50 on Twitter. So those are probably the two best ways to get a hold of me.
There you go. Rob@rec.poker. Don't be afraid to reach out to Rob and share your thoughts about the book study and future titles and what we can do to unlock some of that poker knowledge. What else, gang? What else is going on in the next little while? I know Chris Jones isn't here today, but he's working on some ways that we're approaching how to organize our training content and make it a little more accessible to some members, maybe reorganize how some of the stuff is presented on the website. So I'm excited for that. Oh, I know we've got this trip to Council Bluffs coming up in a couple of weeks. We're doing a road trip to go check out the Run Good event. That's going to be from February 15th through 21st. So you can go to rec.poker/road trips and find out all sorts of details about that. Our very own Andrew Feist and Tim Fritz are going to be down there playing in many of the events. They're going to have time to get together with Rec Poker members for breakfast or to have a little hangout after everyone busts. So do reach out anytime if you want to get involved in that. And what else? We've had a lot of success with our study groups with Gareth James. I'm really excited to see how we can further develop that relationship. We talked about flops. We talked about turns. We're moving on to rivers in March. And Gareth has been extremely generous with his time. If you go to rec.poker/resources or just go to the shop, you can find some ways there to work with Gareth directly. And I'd encourage everyone to do that. He's a great coach and teacher. And he's become a very good friend here at Rec Poker, along with so many of these other wonderful folks like Dara O'Carney, Ryan LaPlante, Matt Berkey. You really got to get involved in our premium membership, folks, because every month we take you behind the curtain of all these other premium training sites. You can watch paywalled videos of their strategy material just because they know how important recreational poker players are to the game, and they want us all to get better together. So check it out. Go to rec.poker, sign up for premium membership. If you use the code RECPOKER, instead of $15 a month, which is already a pretty freaking good deal, if I do say so myself, you'll get $10 off. So it's only $5 for your first month of premium membership. And I do encourage you to go check that out. But if you'd like to say thanks or to help us out in a way that doesn't cost you a dime, you can go to rec.poker/support and you can find some ways there. Rate and review us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, tell people that you like Rec Poker and that they should check it out. There's a lot of ways, and we really do appreciate all of it. So any other thoughts from the crew here before we roll on out into another week of loving our life of recreational poker players? I don't see a lot of jumping in, so I'm going to jump in. I'm going to say thank you to Website Amp and to Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, to Robbie Strazynski, of course, Rob, Mark, Steve Fredlin, and everyone that makes it happen here. See you again next week, guys.